And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
What up, though? 7 years in running. This is my third official show without David Jacoby, who's enjoying a well-deserved vacation with his lovely family. So when he's out, I have to go into the phone and figure family that could come through and represent. This gentleman, not only have we been friends for almost 2 decades, but he's top 5 DOA, and his bust for the Hall of Fame is actually in our studio. The one, the only, Jada Kiss is in the building. What up, though, family?
Only appropriate. What's up, big bro? What's going on, baby?
I'm good. How are you? What's keeping you busy these days?
Just working, the family, of course. Family vacationing and things like that. 2 albums in the workings right now.
Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes.
Yeah.
How many albums?
2 albums in the works right now.
Man, talk to me about that.
Probably 70 to 85% done on both of them. New Locks project coming, the real one. It's not an EP, it's not a sampler. This is a real body of work that, our contemporaries as well as the new young era is something that they can absorb and rock out to. And I got a new solo project coming out
Dope.
as well.
So big shout. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the other members of the family that's like brothers as well. The Silverback Gorilla, Sheik Lucci. No doubt about it. And of course, the Ghost, Styles P.
Yes, sir.
A Locks album. Did I just hear you say that into a microphone? Oh, man.
Definitely. We had a big meeting
you're going to cause some
night.
Accidents.
Big meeting last night, just to update, to see where we was at, and just to backtrack from, because you count backwards when you're doing the album with the timing as far as everything in marketing and time you got to get the samples done. So we just had a meeting last night to make sure everything was going right, a real intense meeting. But that's when it's good. The project is near coming out, when the meetings get more intense and everybody's really into it and giving their opinions and stop in the middle of the meeting and call Swiss and just a bunch of that was going on. So it was a good, healthy, productive meeting.
So can you kind of unpack for our listeners that are getting familiar with you for the first time, getting familiar with the Locks for the first time? You've been in the game for so very long. Can you just talk to them about what that movement means to the industry and how important it is for them to understand it's more than just rapping into a microphone is what makes you a top 5 DOA. It's the time, the energy, the bars,
definitely,
and all of the sacrifices that you make.
This game is a very fickle game. We came in at a time when it was really, really crucial of your craft. You know what I mean? It was the heavyweights was still in their prime. Redman, Big, Pac, Hov, Nas, Snoop, Dre. It was cluttered. So in order to get in, you had to have a certain skill set that them dudes accepted and let you in. It was somewhat like that. Whereas today is different. You don't have to be as lyrical. You can still have very successful big records, and make a lot of money touring, make a lot of money off merch. But one of the things that we seem to always stick by is just to be tight with each other. We came in with each other. We plan on leaving with each other. You gotta work hard. You gotta you can't let the big wigs or the executives or the higher ups get in your ear and start trying to divide and conquer you from your brothers or your group. Gotta do a lot of praying. And you just gotta stay in the studio. You know what I mean? A lot of dudes get a couple dollars, they get a roll of your Mercedes Benz, and then the studio becomes the least thing on their schedule. Like, just like a ball player has to stay in the gym, an artist got to stay in the studio, and then your craft starts, it starts blossoming with the time you put in, and you be all right out there.
Kiss, also, the thing, it will really be important if you can explain to artists, but also to fans, how important the process is of having the ability to not only adapt to what's current as somebody that's been around for a long time, but the process that you've been able to do, Styles has been able to do, Chic has been able to do, actually reinvent yourself to stay current and relevant and dope.
I think one of the main things of staying relevant or reinventing yourself or just not getting swept away or being, putting yourself in a bubble is opening your ears. Like, don't be stubborn to a certain type of music you like. I also think our kids helped us. Having kids and their friends coming over to the crib or chilling in the man cave or in the backyard and you listening to their playlist, it kind of helps you see the formula or the structure. And not only that, the new artists that come in, you got to embrace them. Sometimes dudes be like grumpy old men and
they off my lawn.
Yeah, it hurts you in the long run instead of embracing these new cats and telling them the game and giving them game. And you fit, and once you do that, you see that they really wanted that. They stick to you. They'll call me, Kiss, what's going on? This is about to happen. How should I do this? And I just want to come to the studio and sit down and chop it up with you. So once you obtain and maintain them type of relationships, it gives your career legs.
Absolutely. And if you don't mind sharing, because it's important to always give props and give shouts, some of the artists that you may mentor, some of the people that may hit you up, or some of the people that's current because, and I mean that by they're basically newer artists based on yourself. You've been doing this almost a couple of decades. Who are some of the people that you like in the game today?
Well, I listen to all of them because as my job in this music industry is important for me to know what's going on and what's coming out and what's charting and what the kids like and what the girls like, and that's just an important thing that I need to do. But I like all of them, but ones that I'm more closer than with right now is probably Little Uzi's like my little brother. You probably wouldn't know that. G Herbo, the ASAP Mob, all of them dudes. I'm cool with Joe Buttons. I like Joel Ortiz. I'm cool with Fred the Godson, Casanova. All of really any of the new dudes that's up and coming will tell you if they ever spoke to Kiss, he was the first one to get on a song with me, or he didn't charge me, or he didn't, I like to give them that game and build them up instead of breaking them down. And then, in case one of them do make it big in the future, they pull me in for a feature or something and it might relight you just gotta keep your relationships and rapport. And this game is all about relationships and rapport with the younger dudes and the older dudes, because most of the people I would want to do a feature with, they already have money. It ain't about the money, so it's about how's our relationship together. If the song will get done or not, or will they get me to run around and tell me they're in the south of France or something and they can't get it. So when I open my phone, similar to you today with Jacoby being missing, gotta have some relationships and rapport to make things happen.
Dope. Guy we know really well, Carmelo Anthony. You saw him play up close with the Knicks.
Yes, sir.
Pretty sure you guys got a chance to break a lot of bread. He's now with the Houston Rockets, teaming up with James Harden and CP3, trying to see if they're going to be able to combat what's going on in Golden State with the Warriors as they've added DeMarcus Cousins this offseason. As Carmelo Anthony has verbally agreed, what are your thoughts on him running with that squad, and can they possibly be a team that upsets the Warriors this year?
I think it's a good fit for Melo. I think the Dan D'Antoni system is good for him opposed to other systems. I think Chris Paul knows Melo's game very well, more than people think. He knows it, and he'll get him the shots and you know what I mean, make him very comfortable way in the space to get Melo back looking like the Melo we know he is. Also James Harden. I think they're going to gel good. I mean, we give it a shot. I think they have a chance to make a run for it.
Harden coming off winning MVP. As you mentioned, CP3 was playing at an all-NBA level. I truly believe had Chris Paul not gotten hurt, they would have beaten the Golden State Warriors last year. They were up in the series. They lost him, and before you know it, a 3-1 def lead basically turned into Golden State Warriors turning around the fortunes. And in Game 7, they missed a record 27 consecutive threes. That's never happened in a playoff game before. So you think adding Melo and his ability to score now puts them in position to actually make it happen if they can stay healthy?
Yes. I think he's going to have to do some working out this offseason to get his body back running, because them dudes like to run.
Yes.
They let Trevor Ariza go, which was a big part of the defense. So we got to see, you know what I mean? He's going to have to get his body in running shape. I think they'll be good.
I agree. It's going to be great theater in the West. LeBron's out West now. You know, you got a couple of other teams that's still trying to jockey and find themselves. But I do feel like that Melo's going to be a welcome addition. But I want to have some fun with you since you're here on the program. Let's change gears, because sometimes things get a little socially awkward.
Definitely.
MC Dave West threatens to beat up any guy who leaves a compliment or a DM on his girl's IG photos. As somebody whose wife is a public figure, I understand that he's really protective of his significant other. How do you feel about situations like this as I see his quote? I know a lot of y'all N-words are in their comments and their messages, but if I catch you out here in these comments, be gangster. Like you feel like it is. Feel like you is.
Dave East is my brother. You know what I mean? He's my little brother, for one. But I think it's impossible to monitor DMs and strangers. Is that, for one, they're coming from strangers. Now, if it's somebody you know, one of your mans, or somebody you know that's in your neighborhood or something, that's different. But, you know, social media is made to poke at you. You got to have thick skin when you're a celebrity or athlete or any type of entertainer. You must have thick skin, because all of the comments are not going to be good. You know what I mean? And somebody's always going to say something slick or try you. I think that's just one of the things that come with social media.
Yep, I agree.
If you can't dig it, don't log on.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Like, if we're in the same industry, or we're homies, or I recognize you, to me, it's out of pocket to obviously try to holler at my mate or slide in her DMs. If you're a stranger or a fan, then I understand that you're going to be salivating at the post and excited about the pictures, because women have fans as well, whether they're famous or not. And one of the things I learned about social media is the self-esteem boost. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people post pictures so that they what? Get likes. So that's actually
get followers.
Why are you there? Some people care more about the likes on social media than finding love in real life. And that's another subject for another day. We've had an issue, however. EA Sports, they dropped their most recent Madden game. I grew up playing Madden, was really excited about it. And all of a sudden, I see Colin Kaepernick got his name edited from the Big Sean verse. How would you feel if one of your verses was edited without your knowledge, especially for a video game?
This is when you ever heard the saying, all money isn't good money. I know it was probably a nice check they got for, you know, the Madden, using the song in Madden and whatnot. But when they go behind your back and edit your song or do something to your art form of music without your consent, you can't let that happen. Either you pull the song, or you let the deal be null and void, and you stand up for your music. You know what I mean? All time. Standing up ain't good at all times if it can hurt your family or if it can hurt your overall, you know what I mean, the future of what you're doing. But in a thing like that, I applaud the artists, YG, Big Sean, everybody for, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna put it back, or we gonna pull a song, and they put the Kaepernick reference back in the song, and I mean, that's a good, we finally won one.
Correct. And I'm glad you said that, no doubt about it, because it continues to show the growth of hip-hop. Mm-hmm. Because initially, corporate America didn't want to embrace it until they realized it was so very popular, and suburban families didn't want to embrace it. They realized their kids were listening to the music. They were dressing like their favorite artists. They were speaking like their favorite artists. And they were selling out the shows. And then all of a sudden, like, whoa, rap music makes money? How can we be in that game? And so there are going to be people that continue to try to censor what you say and tell you what to wear and what not to rock. But like you said, it's important to still stay true as an artist.
Definitely. You got to stay, without compromising, it is what you stand for. You got to try to stand strong and keep 10 toes on the ground, and, you know what I mean, let them know that you're not going to be a pushover for what you believe without hurting your kids' future or things like that, without tampering with the bigger picture.
No question about it. Speaking of YG, he clapped back at all his haters because a lot of them was making memes about how he dressed. And he basically let them know they need to go to Barney's because he getting this bread, and you can say what you say. And so for him, how do you feel about the way he clapped back at his haters?
I mean, for me, being an artist and him being one of my fellow co-workers and his line to be in Barney's, that's a major clap.
That is crazy.
You know what I mean? I don't care if you don't like the give, you don't like his choice of how he puts it together, but him to come out with his first clothing line and it being sold in Barney's, that's another win for hip-hop.
On Wednesdays, of course, it's our honor, it's our privilege to salute the ladies. It's only right that we only take female voice calls. Reg, cue up the voicemail.
Hey guys, shout out to Reggie. So my husband's birthday is coming up and we need you to settle a debate. Facebook birthday charity fundraisers. Boss move or soft move? Hope you can help us out. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love. We got top 5 dead or alive Jada Kiss in the building. What do you think about that, Kiss? Facebook, dating, and promoting. How you going to get it done?
That might be a soft move for me.
I agree. I think that's a soft move too.
I don't think that's a boss move.
Yeah, because you're involving too many people.
Yeah.
Like when you're in a relationship, that's really personal. You're seeing eye to eye. You got to go. One thing, and I'm going to show my age here, is I hate when somebody send me something on social media that they should text me.
That they got your phone number. That's one of the most. I hate that probably more than anything. When I look on if I look on the gram or Twitter or something and somebody's trying to talk to me that has my phone number, I never understand. I just don't get that one.
Right. I don't get that one either. So we appreciate your union and hope you guys continue to flourish, but keep it off Facebook. Keep it personal. Enjoy one another, celebrate the situation in the union. Because one of the things in the reality show generation that I've learned too is a lot of times once people start getting on those shows, they break up.
It goes downhill. Yeah.
They break up. You're involving too many people. That would be my advice. We appreciate the call.
Shout out.
We got the bust in the building. Top 5 DOA, Jada Kiss.
Yes, sir.
Give us another voicemail, Reg.
Hello. Shout out to Reg, Jalen and Jacoby. Love the show. This is MJ calling from North Carolina. Now, over the years, I've gone to all types of functions, some given by individuals, clubs, fraternities, sororities, and paid for the ticket. No problem. Whatever the case. Now, my question to you is it a boss move or a soft move to sell tickets to a function and boldly put on the ticket, come help me celebrate my birthday? I thought this was straight up butter soft, but I said, okay, hold up. Let me call in to Jalen and Jacoby and see what they say. So is that a boss move or soft move. And once again, thank you, Brother Reg. Hopefully, you'll put me on the air. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
We both died laughing as MJ, appreciate the shout from North Carolina, gave us a soft move or a boss move. I had to turn this over to one of the members of the Locks. What do you think? Selling tickets to your birthday party.
Now, it's all in the presentation with that, I think. If you make it, you know what I mean, and say I'm having something on a yacht and this, and you know what I mean, then you can get tickets at Eventbrite or somewhere like that, or wherever they sell tickets at, then that's different. But if I'm asking you to come party with me, or I'm inviting you somewhere, then telling you to help me sell the tickets, and then you see that it's for my birthday bash, I think that was the wrong presentation. So I would have to say that was a soft move.
I agree with you. It's a soft move, but you can sell tickets like Kiss said. Like if you're doing it at a yacht or if you're doing it somewhere fast.
Nice venue, yeah.
No doubt. And people going to get something in return, like good food, good drink, good atmosphere, nice DJ. You know, people is going to be there to, you know, they recognize or maybe even show them that you spent some of the money on a celebrity.
Surprise performance or something.
Yeah, you giving us something for our bread, then of course that's love, but you can't just be doing it to line your pockets for your birthday. Yeah. That's a soft move. You're playing your peeps. All right. And it's a Wednesday. We turning up in the studio. Reg, kick us a third voicemail.
What up, Jalen and Jacoby? Shout out, Reg. It's your boy K-Mac from OKC. Want to hit day one. Jalen and Jacoby heads. Been listening since the days when Jacoby used to yell at Jalen for reading out Twitter shout-outs on the show. Had a quick question. I've been listening to, I like Jalen. I'm a big fan of bars. Been listening to Rhapsody. Her new CD, Layla's Wisdom, is just ridiculous. I encourage y'all to listen if you haven't already. Just wanted to know, I know, Jacoby, you don't like to do lists, but if you wouldn't mind, what are the top, well, I won't say the top five. Who would you say are the best 5 female MCs that ever blessed the mic? Because I think Rhapsody is going to have something to say representing Carolina. All right. Hope all is well. Shout out.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate the love, K-Man from OKC, and the love since day one. Yeah, the program is grown, Kiss. You know, I used to get on my brother Jacoby about not recognizing the fans and not wanting to get him love. And he used to get mad at me because he's a terrific producer and he's trying to focus on the show. And I'm looking at my telephone trying to read out Twitter shout-outs and give love to the people.
He didn't understand that, I guess,
you know what
at
I mean?
that point.
Absolutely. So I love Rhapsody. I think she's dope. I haven't heard her new project, Layla's Wisdom. I'm glad the caller put me up on it.
Fire. You got to check it out.
Oh, really?
It's crazy.
And so the caller now wants us to, we ain't going to do a list.
Yes, you putting us in a sticky situation that is really, is like a religious argument. It's hard to, you can't, who's to say who's right or who's wrong?
Correct. And over the generations, how do you judge who's better? Are you going by a single? Are you going by a classic album? Are you going by sales? Are you going by staying true to their character? Like, it's hard to say. But off the top of my head, I'm just thinking of some of the female MCs when I was growing up. I can't forget when MC Lyte was doing her thing.
Definitely.
Queen Latifah was doing her thing. Still is. Love her to death. Both of them. Foxy Brown had her turn.
Il Nana.
How about Lil' Kim?
Queen B.
Y'all came up under the same umbrella in a lot of ways.
Facts.
She was killing it. Her first album.
Facts.
I can't front. I remember being that dude riding in the car with all of the ladies I just said nodding my head to their songs. And I had some people looking at me sideways, but they was so fire, I didn't care.
Yeah. Yep.
So nowadays, you know how is Cardi taking her turn, Nicki taking her turn. Are there any female MCs you want to shout that we probably left out?
Shout to Remy Ma.
No doubt.
I mean, you got to shout to her. Her whole story is just impeccable. It's a beautiful ending. I mean, it's not ending yet, but it played out beautifully. So definitely shout to Remy Ma. Shout to Nicki.
Yes.
Shout out.
Remy Ma and Papoose. I got love for him, too.
Shout out.
No doubt about it. So, as always, we appreciate the support. We're thankful again that Top 5 DOA graced this week's pod, today's pod. You know it's really important to us not only to have a TV show, but to get the people what they want. Our podcast listeners, our most important listeners, the ones that are sticking with us since day one. Mm-hmm. And it's always a win for us when we have a Top 5 dead or alive member of the hip-hop community, Jada Kiss, join the program.
Always love, bro.
Appreciate the love, family. Open door policy.
Allie's mom knew she had a strong kick even back in the womb. And from then on, Allie was always kicking a ball and saying she was going to play pro soccer. And one day, while she was kicking a ball against a wall, her skills drew even more attention. Her boss said, "Could you please stop that and get me those quarterly numbers I asked for?" Turns out Allie just wasn't that good a talker. But she was a good accountant. That's why she switched to Geico. She knew they could save her a bunch of money on car insurance. And she sure wasn't ever going to make that pro soccer money. No, sir.
For 7 years, we make sure that we acknowledge for the fans. We give the people what they want. And as our good friend Jada Kiss exits the building, we have an open door policy of family members. It's like a revolving door. You know, one of these gentlemen, because he was just here a couple of days ago, Amin El Hassan is back in the building.
Yes, sir.
He's been hosting for me and for Jacoby multiple times. We love him on the program. Gets a great fan response. But I got a new introduction to the ESPN family.
Oh,
he's going to be corresponding on Get Up. He's going to be appearing on First Take. You've seen this gentleman do a lot of salsa dancing in the NFL as he scored multiple touchdowns. Big shout and love and welcome to my brother, Victor Cruz.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Welcome, family. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I need that clip of that intro. I got to have that in the back pocket at all times.
No question. Appreciate the love. So what's keeping you busy these days? Kind of unpack, you know. Over the last couple of years, we saw you in the league, out of the league, see you now on TMZ. So what's happening with you these days, man?
Oh, man. Just a little bit of everything, man, between my 6-year-old daughter and between, figuring out the last probably year and a half of my life, whether I want to continue to play football and what opportunities arise there for me, as well as, still having to open up these other avenues because these bills aren't going to pay themselves, Jalen, as you know. So between unpacking all of that, doing some work with Nike, obviously, as you said, I'll be joining the ESPN family, the ESPN team, so that'll take up a lot of my time and constructive time. So I'm happy about that, man.
So now that the NFL season has started, it's almost still mind-boggling to me, guys, that we actually still talking about the anthem controversy. And not because the players have taken a knee. I applaud Colin. I applaud Eric Reed for the stance that they took. I support those brothers. And I'm upset that they're still not in the league because of their stance and not because of their play. But there will be times where guys get asked to talk about this. Dak Prescott was the latest, member of the Dallas Cowboys. He basically paraphrasing what he said, that he didn't think football was the venue to acknowledge your unhappiness about social things that you want to make aware to your fans at work. And I understand that as a young fella. If you're not knowledgeable about something, don't speak on it, but don't talk down on the movement. And so he tried to double back down, but people wasn't believing it. And when Jerry Jones comes out and talks about it the way he did, it almost made Dak look like a sellout. So there's a mural now in Dallas that put him in the sunken place, literally. And that's tough. You guys know you don't want to be there with your community. So please, either one of you guys take turns. Just let me know, what you guys feel about how that entire situation is just playing out for the NFL.
I feel like, well, first of all, it's never been about the anthem. Let's get that out the way. I'm sure we've said that. I'm sure both of you guys have said that numerous times. It's not about the anthem.
Say it again, because some people still don't get it.
It's never been about the anthem. It's always been about social equality and how our president has viewed us and how he perceives minorities in this world and how there aren't the same just systems for minorities even in 2018 as they are for the majority. And that's the problem. That's the issue that we're facing. And then my thing is for Dak, if football isn't the venue, if football is what you do and that's your profession and that's where you want to make a stand, then what is the venue? Like, provide me with a solution, not just state to me what your problem is with.
Jalen, you talked about it the other day. The protest is meant to make you uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you won't pay attention to it. If it happens, like basically if it were on TV and it aired between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., guess what? No one's going to care. No one's going to know. So it is absolutely appropriate for them to do it there because that got people's attention. It got people talking about something that really wasn't getting talked about like that. It's not a new thing. Police brutality towards minorities is not a new thing, but we're talking about a whole lot more now ever since that kind of stuff happened. So, Jalen, you hit on the head, man. No one should feel forced to do a cause or that's something that they're not knowledgeable about or not comfortable speaking out. That's cool, but you can't then throw water on it. He threw water, or at least his comments felt like he was throwing water on what some of the other guys were doing.
Well, Victor, it seemed like last year Jerry Jones hijacked the movement because he was one of the owners that was like, I'm going to stand with my players. We're going to lock arms. And then he took double knees. And I was looking at that move sideways already. Then you come out and say, any member of my team is going to not only stand for the anthem, but toe the line.
Yo,
that's crazy.
You know what the wildest thing?
That's the craziest
thing. The wildest thing about that whole story was the other thing that they announced that same day. By the way, we were renewing our Papa John's sponsorship. That was when I was like, yo, that's him putting it on the table. That's what we about right here.
Exactly.
And that, to me, that spoke way more volumes than even that statement.
And it's clear cut too, man. Jerry Jones has drawn that line in the sand on who he supports and who he doesn't. And the fact that he owns a team that the majority of them are minorities, if not all at this point. And the leader of your offense is a minority player as well. So how does that work as far as the front office and the players being united and being on the same page so they can go forward with this and be positive? I don't anticipate this being a successful year for the Cowboys in terms of socially, how they're going to handle this. Because some guys are going to be in that locker room. Some guys are not going to want to walk out there.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How does this now play in the locker room? Because I think Jerry puts everybody in the bad spot. You played for a long time.
Yeah, it's tough because you got the younger guys, right, that can't afford to, miss a check or miss a game or anything of that nature. And they have to at least they feel like they have to conform to what the hierarchy is saying, what they're talking about. And it's going to be tough. And I think it's going to be up to the higher up, the veteran guys to kind of speak how they feel and speak to the younger guys and kind of get everybody on the same page, at least in that locker room, because that's what's most important. That's what's going to win you ball games.
Could this happen is it being in Dallas and, Texas, a part of, I guess you will say it, a red state? Does that help him in that way, in a way that, I guess what I'm asking, could this have happened at the 49ers or at the Giants or somewhere where it's not quite the population that watches the team and supports the team is out there eating Papa John's, basically?
Yeah, it would be different, obviously that he's in Texas. And I tell y'all what, man, I've been watching this thing on Netflix about I Am a Killer. Have y'all seen this?
No, you put me up on it.
It's about guys that are on death row and their stories and what they've done to become, why they're in death row.
Right.
And I saw maybe the first 4 episodes, all of them are in Texas. And I'm just like, what is this about? Like, why is all the bad things happening in Texas? All these people from Texas. So to have that happen in Texas, I feel like Jerry Jones will be almost commended. I think that fan base down there wants to see this kind of division. That's what, that's the origin of where all of this comes from. All of this hatred and things like that come from Texas. So I think he'll be kind of heralded within that little community, but in the wide scheme of things, in the large scheme of things in the world, it's going to be frowned upon.
And it's crazy that, you bring up Papa John's because we've seen their former founder literally be disgraced over the past 12 months to the point where he lost that position.
He's been wilding for a while, by the way. It's kind of like Donald Sterling. He's been wilding for a while, but this is the one where they finally got him.
Wow, that's crazy. Sticking with the NFL because we got the great Victor Cruz in the studio. I've always been one of those people that was upset with the fact that I don't feel NFL players contractually get the respect that they deserve. You guys put your bodies on the line each play. It's a blood sport. Each collision is like a car crash. And I hate when training camp starts and Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, Julio Jones, wondering if Odell Beckham is going to play at the beginning of the season because of the labor. We don't see this in basketball. We don't see this in baseball. Do you think how important do you think it is for players to hold out for their money, to continue to try to break that glass ceiling financially? And when do you think players will probably get more of guarantees in their contracts one day?
I think it's absolutely important to hold out and to make sure you're in the best position for yourself and your family moving forward. Because as you know, and I'm a living testament to it, you can sign your deal one day and get hurt the very next day or the very next year, the very next game. So you want to make sure that your funds are in place for not only yourself, but for your family. And look, we play this game. The average lifespan of an NFL athlete is 4 years? If that might be a stretch. So you have to maximize this time as much as you physically can so that you maximize your output as far as finances are concerned and be in the best position for your family. And I think guys like Odell, guys like Le'Veon Bell, guys like Kirk Cousins over the years, I think those guys have to break that mold so that we can, okay, you don't want to give us these long-term deals and guarantee them, then make them shorter and guarantee them. And just, there has to be a structure where we can both work. These owners are getting a lot of money. Like, there's definitely a structure we can come up with for guys to get, guaranteed money and maximize their potential.
What's the reaction like in the locker room when you got a teammate who's holding out? And if you're a team, like you think about Aaron Donald, the Rams, they feel like, man, we could go to the Super Bowl this year, and a big part of our team is not there. What's the reaction from the guys?
I think they understand it. I think as long as they understand that it's for the right reasons, I think they get it. They understand where this is. And I remember a guy by the name of Dominic Hickson told me when I was a rookie, he said, man, if you ever have the opportunity to hold your team, this team, any team by the balls, and you can, create your own lane and you got the power, hold it. Hold on to it. Suck all the juice out of it, because that's what's going to change the game. That's what's going to change the market and change how people view this sport.
You think players will ultimately have to, because we've seen it in baseball, we've seen it in the NBA where players just flat out went on strike in order to create change. Do you think that's the drastic move that it's ultimately going to take for NFL players?
I would hope. I've been trying to preach that for a number of years now, but it's difficult because, like I said before, you have these younger players that don't have the type of money that, you got an average of, 6 to 8 guys that are making, big money on an NFL team, and there's 56 guys. You know what I'm saying? So everybody doesn't have, the finances. Just say, I could, skip half a year, 6 games. I could do that financially, but I have a solution here, Jalen. If everybody pools in.
Yes.
And
talk to me. Bring the solution today.
The Tom Brady's of the world, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, all that money that these guys had. Not that I'm counting their pockets, but if we create a fund,
right,
and have for each team, and have that fund go out to these players, over the course. Okay, we're on strike 3 weeks, you get this much. We're on strike 6 weeks, you get this much, and be able to just keep guys afloat while we fight on behind the scenes to get this thing going.
'Cause that's what they're trying to do when ownership, they're going to sit out the strike. Okay, how long are you going to strike? Because they're going to see that you're going to break. They're going to have a fracture within the haves and the have-nots. Because, like you said, there's guys that say, I got a mortgage due. I got a car note due. I got my kids' tuition, whatever. I can't afford to do this. And so that's the goal of management. Every kind of labor strife is, let's see how long y'all could do this. The same thing with us in the lockout, right? The whole idea was the owners felt like, oh man, we're losing too much money. We need to because it used to be NBA players got like 57% of BRI. And they said, we want to take it down to 50-50. And so players, no, there's no chance. So we're going to just sit this out. And they know sooner or later, everyone caves because, you got guys who, you talk about, for us, it's 450 players, but, LeBron, Chris Paul, okay, those guys are cool. They're taken care of. But it's all the rank and file guys, the guys who's on 10 days, the guys who are living check to check on veteran minimum. Those are the guys that make up the majority of the Players Association, and ultimately those are the guys that vote for let's do whatever it takes to get back on the field.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's that big bank take little bank theory. And you hope that players that's making that kind of money, like you mentioned, a lot of the big name players would be willing to do that to create an allowance almost.
I wonder.
Teammates.
It sounds good until they come to your check.
Like, how much you taking? Hold on, man. Odell don't need that much. He don't need that much.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
By the way, I just thought about that too. You know how when you loan somebody money and then they're like, I'll get you next week. And then you see them like, wait, you got money to buy a new phone?
You see him flourishing.
Hey, man.
Can I get my bread back? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But I think, and we talked about this with Richard Sherman before, he said exactly what you said, how ultimately striking is going to be the power for the players, because even unlike basketball, like something like fantasy football, like I play, okay? And imagine if players decided we're not only going to play the NFL game, how that hurts that bottom line, but fantasy football also.
And that's huge because obviously we all know how big fantasy football is, but the biggest thing is the fans have a large voice on each team, especially in major markets like New York, like Dallas, obviously, because of, what the Cowboys have created. And once those fans get irate and get nervous and you guys are not playing and their favorite players aren't playing, their fantasy money's dwindling because they got to look, nobody's playing. So that's when it gets real for the owners, and that's when it gets real for the front office in terms of, okay, what do we do here now?
One direct question for you. What do you think about your Giants this year? Drafted Saquon Barkley, brought Eli back for another year. They got a lot of weapons, Shepard and Ingram, and obviously Odell.
I think we're prime, man. I think the Giants are primed for a return to dominance, a return to form, if you will. And I think, obviously, a new offense, a new regime over there. Provide was just there not too long ago, this past week, and it's a new energy in there. You kind of feel everybody's got a refreshed feel, and everybody on the staff is cool, and you can tell the players are taking heed to what they're saying. The players are like, okay, this is a fresh start. We feel good about what this is. The coaching staff has put us in a good place right now, at least thus far through training camp, and we feel good about our chances. And obviously, if the core of that team stays healthy and Saquon can continue to be the Saquon we've seen at Penn State, the sky's the limit for them.
How hard is it for him to make that kind of leap? Because he was so dominant in college. Like, it doesn't really translate every time. So how can you, when you watch him play, how do you know, like, okay, he's going to be able to do this with the big boys?
Well, first of all, because when you see him in college, it was really easy.
Right.
Like, whether it wasn't physically, but watching him, you're like, wow, like this game is really easy for him. You know what I mean? And then two, he has the NFL body for it. Like, he's had an NFL body since probably 2 years ago. So the fact that he's a running back that can take those bruises because of how he's physically built, and then has the gifted talents to run away from people, to run over people, to run around people. Right. I mean, you can't teach that. And I think he's got all those tools now already, and just hopefully it translates over.
On J&J, y'all know how we be all up in VIP, and it don't stop. Here's a guy of your New York Football Giants, Odell Beckham Jr., going into the season making $8 million a year. People comparing his bread to Sammy Watkins. I don't like to do that. But does Odell Beckham Jr. deserve to be the highest paid receiver in the game?
Yes, he does. And when you look at the numbers and when you look at his impact when he's not on the field and you look at his impact when he is on the field, it's night and day. And I think he pulls defenders. He makes your entire offense different. He makes your defenses stay honest. They have to shift coverages for him, and that in turn gets everybody else open. And if you look at the roster, they got some good guys over there that can get themselves open other than Odell Beckham as well. So I think he absolutely deserves the highest paid contract. I think he'll get that. I think he'll work towards that. And I think he's done enough thus far to warrant that for sure.
Vic, the thing you talk about, how the defense has to pay attention to him. In basketball, we call that gravity. Right? It's the idea of Steph Curry can stand in the corner for a whole possession, not touch the ball, but the defense has to be aware of where he is.
Exactly.
So it changes everything. It makes the game easier for everybody else. He definitely has that going for him. He's obviously great hands, but I'm going to take it a step further. Business-wise, right? You walk in the streets here and you get people who aren't football fans. And you show them a picture of Julio Jones, great receiver. Show them a picture of AB. You show them a picture of Odell. They know who Odell is.
100%.
And this game is still a business, right? And so when you talk about not only what he does for the team on the field, but in terms of marketing and as a business furthering the Giants brand, definitely pay this man.
Absolutely. And you've been somebody that sold tickets. We've seen you saucing in the end zone. Odell Beckham plays with that same level of flash and flair. The detractors will say, well, we've seen him have some emotional breakdowns. What about his decision making? What about his maturity? How's he going to behave when he gets that kind of money from the team?
Well, I think he understands now more than ever, obviously learning from the things that have happened in the past and how he's reacted to certain things, that people are going to, because he's put that out there as far as his things on the field about certain players or certain things that players have said that may have gotten under his skin. He understands that that's coming. And I think it's shifted his mindset and he's prepared now. I think he's in a different space now than where he's been, say, 2 years or even a year ago. I think he understands the level of responsibility that he has, not only for himself, but for kids that watch him. And I think he's ready for that responsibility. And he still is going to play with that same flair and that same, because a lot of things that people confuse it for, it's passion. The guy is just passionate about the game almost to a fault. And he respects the game. And I think that's the Odell you're going to see moving forward, and not the things that you have seen prior to today.
There's a term that's called don't cop it if you can't keep it. Mm-hmm. And I've seen this play out in the NFL the last couple of years between Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree.
Oh, man.
They're out there playing football. They're going at it. It was Raiders, Broncos. Those two teams hate each other. And before every time I look up, Talib snatching Michael Crabtree's chain. Has that level of trash talk ever happened to you on the field? Or more importantly, that type of disrespect?
Never. Let's be very clear. Let's not beat around it. That has never happened to me. I mean, I've obviously been around for things like Brandon Jacobs and Rex Ryan and that kind of thing that has happened, but nothing even remotely close than just a straight up jack move on the field, reaching through twice. He did it twice.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what? First of all, you're about to play him. Because it's mentally, right? Because Crabtree's like, okay, I know I'm playing the key, but I'm wearing my chain again because he ain't going to do it again to me. No shot. And then he does it again, whether it's on accident, you don't know it's coming, it's in the heat of the battle, whatever the case may be. It's disrespectful, and no, Jalen, that has never happened.
What do you think about it, Amin?
Yo, it's wild to me that football players get to wear jewelry. Like in the league, when they stopped doing that.
I think you can't, but
mid '80s.
Yeah, way before, like
after MJ couple of dunk contests.
But it's cats that out there dressing jewelry. Baseball too, right? Baseball, they out there with their chains on, and I just like, doesn't that bother you? When you run in and it's like beating right here, it doesn't have a distraction?
Well, it depends on the length of the chain, obviously, because I kind of wore like smaller chains underneath my joint that meant something to me and things like that. But if you got like a big Cuban link on under, like, come on, man, you can't be out there with a small Cuban on playing football.
Well, I'm glad they squashed it. They were on teams that were rivals before. They're both on new squads trying to reinvent themselves, one with the Rams, one with the Ravens. We'll see how that plays out if they get a chance to face one another in the regular season. But next up is one of my favorite segments, Fail Test. Joakim Noah been living his best life.
Oh, man.
He posted on IG, got a blonde beard standing in front of trees, seen him on TMZ, changing clothes in the middle of the street. You guys have seen the clip. I just want to ask you guys what you think about it. And as we call it on this show, is that a failed test?
I don't even know what to think about it, honestly. I've seen the photos. I've seen, I just can't make sense of it. Why aren't you at home changing? Why don't you come out prepared? Why are you stripping down? He was half naked in the street.
Yeah. Santa Monica.
This is not on some side street.
Exactly.
Right there by the beach. My favorite thing is, Vic just saw it, and the first thing you picked up on, I didn't pick up on it. Is he barefoot? My man is just walking the streets with no shoes on. No shirt, no shoes, no service.
But he's definitely, to Jalen's point, he's living his best life. When you can walk around like that and not have a care in the world and not care what anybody says about you, you are so comfortable in your own skin that you're good to go.
That's life without consequences because the checks are guaranteed, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll be barefoot too. The checks are guaranteed, Jalen. I'll be barefoot too.
Spending that NBA bread out there living his best life. Still a member of the New York Knicks, right?
Yeah. What's the wildest thing you ever seen in the league? Someone do in public like that?
That's ranking. Not that I'm starting to think about it.
That's right more. Like that's one of the.
Well, anything Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
How about that? Anything.
But that was almost.
Dresses.
It was expected though, because you knew how he was. That was expected. Joakim, this is like, you knew he was a little different. But not like this. Not butt naked on Santa Monica. Not butt naked on Santa Monica barefoot.
Come on, Joakim. You got a mansion. Change at the crib.
Or in the car.
At least. He got out the car.
Yo.
I'm confused.
Aaron Rodgers in training camp. Back off of injury. Now part of a power couple with Danica Patrick. I'm pretty sure he saw Matt Ryan get his money. He ain't too happy about that. But he wanted to win another Super Bowl. And he went off on his receiving core, which you've been a part of out there playing multiple years. And he was not happy with their level of effort. So I want to ask you guys, start with you. Does Aaron Rodgers actually just need to chill?
RELAX, right? That was his thing. I want to hear Vic, because the setup is he was on the scout team, right? He's probably not going to play. So he's on the scout team, and they're running the plays that they play in Tennessee, I think, running the Titans stuff. But they're doing it with their terminology, and they're telling you what the route is. So his thing is, this ain't hard. This ain't, you don't have to remember anything. They literally have a card right there that's telling you what to do. And he didn't like the effort level, attention to detail. And so what I want to ask you is, first of all, like the idea that the scout team is that important for a preseason game. Is that level of intensity there?
It is important, but I wouldn't say it's important for like the first string guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think it's important for obviously the younger guys that are going to get a bulk of the playing time throughout that first preseason game. But Aaron Rodgers is trying to send a message. And he's trying to send a message to his guys. It's the doldrums of camp right now. It's like practice 7, 8, something like that. Everyone's exhausted. They're tired. Their mindset is like, all right, we just want to play a game already. So Aaron Rodgers is sending a message like, look, I understand what part of camp this is, but we got to get our stuff together because we're in for a long year and we have to be in it. This is different. I'm older now. I'm 2 collarbone surgeries deep. Like this is a different time for me. So I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And he's got some younger guys that he's got to pick up. No more Jordy Nelson. Randall Cobb's the guy. He's the leader in that core, and he's got to bring everybody together.
It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because I know he wants to win another Super Bowl. While they're not the favorite in the NFC, as long as you have that guy in the center, you really have a chance to win the Super Bowl.
Guys, I got a story here that I just couldn't believe. I'm going to read this. I'm going to try to read this. I can't get to the whole thing. So, Buccaneers defensive end Noah Spence added 35 pounds after a 9-meal, 9,000-calorie daily diet. And it starts with 2 shakes in the morning.
What?
Then, like some breakfast stuff. Then 2 more shakes. Then lunch. Then 2 more shakes and dinner. And then another shake before he goes to bed. And so it comes out, look, there's steak, there's shrimp, there's turkey, there's literally every single animal I think when I'm looking at this thing. And so, Vic, what's the most, I guess, you've ever seen a guy do to gain weight?
Well, I've never seen a guy. I've seen guys have to gain some weight and things like that, but I've never seen, this is extreme. I've never seen 7 shakes a day. That's 4 shakes before lunch. Like, that's crazy. That's kind of insane to me. I've seen guys have to lose weight and kind of just be in the sauna for hours, and bigger guys that are just trying to make weight for that week and not get fined. But I've never seen a guy pack on the pounds the way my man's doing it. I'm
going to show you guys how to put on 35 pounds, and it has nothing to do with being healthy. Eat a lot of bread, eat a lot of cheese, eat a lot of fried food, drink a lot of vodka.
Put it on really quick. One for me.
That's it?
That'd have been one for me. Just go out a lot. That's all you got to do.
That's insane.
Eat meals at restaurants and always drink alcohol with it. On the sticking on the topic of gaining weight and eating bad, the Arizona Cardinals are challenging their fans to eat this 7-pound burger. Costs $75. It's got chicken tenders in it, bacon, fries, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, canker sauce, 10-inch buns. If the fan can eat it in an hour, you get a free jersey and recognition on the video board. This is why they hate us, by the way.
So they want you to eat a 7-pound burger just so you could stun on a Jumbotron?
And a free jersey.
That's the only thing?
Is that enough?
No way. I just clogged up every artery in my body.
No question.
Just so I can get on the Jumbotron? There's got to be a different way, Jalen.
I agree with you. And here's the thing. I'm just glad they're not selling that for $5 in the hood. That's what I'm happy about.
The Luther? That's the Luther burger.
No question about it, right?
I got a 20.
Heartburn waiting to happen.
If I ate it, would you respect me more or less?
Less.
Extremely less.
All right. Speaking of not respecting people, there's a new wave. People getting plastic surgery to look like their Snapchat filters. Have you ever wanted to date anybody, Vic, who had like those big eyes or like butterflies flying around their head?
Never. Not once. Yes, it's enhancing of your cheekbones and all of that stuff to make you look like a caricature of yourself, I guess, but I'm not out here like, let me get that girl that with the 1-star filter.
Right.
That's what
Slide in the DMs. Here's the thing, like, social media has become a self-esteem boost. You posting, you erase it, you post it, you erase it, then you post it so people can tell you how good you look.
Man.
Again, I want to thank Amin. I want to thank Victor Cruz, now a member of the ESPN family. For 7 years, we stressed that we give the people what they want. And even though Jacoby's on vacation with his lovely family, we had a fun time today. Make sure you download. Make sure you check us out on ESPN. We're just letting it do what it do.
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.